So problem 4 in the note packet says at the San Diego Zoo, you can either pay $22.75 for the entrance fee, or you could pay $71 for a yearly pass, which entitles you to an unlimited admission. At most, how many times can you enter the zoo for the $22.75 entrance fee before spending more than the cost of a yearly membership? So what we're going to do to set this up is we know that it costs $22.75 for each time that you go into the zoo. So we're going to say X is the number of times that you go to the zoo. So we want to find out $22.75 times X when that will be less than $71. So to solve, we are going to just divide both sides by $22.75. And when I divide that, I get X is less than 3.2. So we'll just say X is less than 3 because you can't, you're going to the zoo, so it has to be a whole number. So at most, how many times can you enter the zoo for the $22.75 entrance fee before spending more than the cost of a yearly membership? Well, you can go up to 3 times. Actually, we're going to say equal to, because you could go 3 times. So to finish this off, and I know I'm running into this other problem because I wrote way too big, we're going to say you could go to the zoo 3 times before spending $71. Problem 5. Verena's scout troop is trying to raise at least $650 this spring. How many boxes of cookies must they sell at $4.50 per box in order to reach their goal? So first thing, I'm going to say X is box of cookies. So we know that each box of cookies is $4.50. So we're going to have $4.50 times X. And we want this to be at least $650. So we know $650 is going to be over here. So remember, at least, so we want this amount to be $650 or more. So we are going to, let me just erase that there. We are going to say that $4.50 X is going to be greater than or equal to $650. So we want this amount here to be greater than or equal to $650. So to solve, we're going to divide both sides by $4.50. We will get X is greater than or equal to 144.44. So for them to reach their goal, they have to sell at least 144 boxes of cookies. So I'm going to ignore this right here because I, again, wrote way too big. So how many boxes must they sell to reach their goal? So they must sell 144 or more boxes. For the last problem, Problem 6, to get a grade of B in her algebra class, Stacy must have an average grade greater than or equal to 80 and less than 90. She received grades of a 92, 78, and 85 on her first 3 tests. Between which scores must her grade fall on her last test if she's to receive a grade of a B for the class? So this one's a little more complicated than what we did with the first 2. So we know that she wants her average to be a B. So we're going to take the 92 and 78 and 85 and we're going to add them all together, and that will give us 255. So we know that her average, so I'm just going to write this down for a quick sec, is going to be greater than or equal to 80 and less than 90. So this is kind of our setup right now. So her average is going to be her 255, so her first 3 tests, plus her missing test, and we're going to divide that by 4. Because remember, average is adding up how many you have and dividing by the number of data points or the number of tests you have. So we are going to replace this in for here. So to solve, we are going to draw the lines through the inequalities. First thing we want to do is get rid of this dividing by 4. So we're going to multiply both sides by 4. So that gives us 320 is less than or equal to 255 plus x, which is less than 360. From here, again, we're going to continue to solve. We want to get x by itself. So we're going to subtract 255 on all 3 parts. So now that we are getting the x by itself in the center, we have 65 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 105. So again, this is telling us what the average should be so that she can get an average of a B in the class. So her last test needs to be in between a 65 and a 105 for her to get a B. So we're going to say the last test needs to be in between 65 and 105.